Yo, what is good? Welcome back to the No Hedging Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Ty the Jet. I'm here with his favorite term, esteemed co-host.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Rip 16, the GOAT, man.
And we are back with another episode of the takeaways from the NFL Week 4. We got some things to talk about. A lot of interesting things took place this past weekend, and we just want to voice our opinions and talk about what we saw. But before we jump into that, make sure you hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button so you can get notified anytime that we have a new video that comes out.
And
we post twice a week.
There's plenty of good ones, at least twice a week. You're going to see our faces.
That's it. So let's not waste any more time. My guy, what is one of your first takeaway from week 4?
Oh, man. Well, mine is kind of like a encompassing takeaway, if you will, being a little unconventional today. The backup QBs.
Okay.
It was a couple backup QBs came into a couple games, and I actually think they came out better with the backup than the goddamn starter.
Who we talking about?
For one, let's talk Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts game.
Okay. Are you talking about Justin Fields, the backup QB?
Well, I mean, that's debatable too. But I'm talking about Reckless Richardson.
Okay.
Got stuck on the hip.
Got banged up early.
Went down. He was grabbing his side like he was reaching for his beeper.
Yep, first quarter.
Went down first quarter. Joe Flacco came in.
Hey.
And you know how I feel about Flacco.
Off the couch.
Fresh off the couch, Flacco came in and cooked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they actually came out better in multiple ways because Flacco is used to playing against Pittsburgh in that division.
That's
for
true.
one.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's a more accurate quarterback than Richardson. He's not going to take off. He's going to stay in that pocket. He's going to drop some dimes. He's a veteran quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to read a defense. And I think he sat there and he really carved up Pittsburgh pretty damn bad.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That changed the course of the game, and as soon as he went in, I was like, Pittsburgh got a fucking problem.
In trouble.
They got a fucking problem. At first, I was like, ooh, I'm betting on Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'm like, Richardson went down. This should be good.
Right.
And then it was like, Joe Flacco comes in the game. I'm like, oh, fuck.
He has a way to, we saw this last year with Cleveland. Him coming in, stepping in. He came in off the couch last season. And won Cleveland some games.
And went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he's turning around and doing it again. And I'm questioning whether or not he's actually better as a starter. But you do have to develop Anthony Richardson. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's your rookie QB. He's your future moving forward. However, in the present, I'm not mad at Joe Flacco staying in the game to help them win some games in a tough division where they got to fight.
It's starting to look like the boy Anthony Richardson is injury prone.
I mean, he's running a lot. He's taking some shots.
And he hasn't played a lot of football either.
No.
In his career.
No, he has not.
So
the boy Anthony Richardson got to pull it together, dog. Like, I don't know what you do to adjust his playing style. I mean, the coaches really got to sit there and have a come to Jesus moment and figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't keep running like that and taking all these hits because clearly he's going to get injured. And he's shown that back-to-back seasons that, okay, these hits are going to add up. Everybody knows that about any quarterback anyway. But you can't have him continuously scrambling around, getting hit by 250-pound linebackers.
Hey, he 250 his damn self.
Which is why he should know that shit hurts.
Yeah.
But you can't have that. And then the other one was I watched that Miami Titans game. And when Will Levis went down.
You watched that?
Actually, yeah, I did. Actually, yeah.
That was unwatchable.
Yeah, it was pretty damn bad. I'm not gonna lie. The Miami offense was unbearable.
Yeah.
But
non-existent.
Devon A-Chain screwed me on a prop, 58 yards.
Yeah,
Is all I needed him to get.
I didn't even know it was a backup that came in. Oh, you talking about Mason Rudolph?
Mason Rudolph came in after Will
Yeah.
Levis went down.
He did.
And they actually played better because Mason Rudolph is a little more accurate than Will Levis.
Well, Will Levis is reckless too. As
He's
we've seen.
reckless.
He gave away literally probably 2 or 3 games this season for Tennessee.
So I'm
literally.
questioning, do you keep Rudolph in? Because Rudolph did win some games with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
So
he got some experience.
He's capable. And are you better off? I wanted to ask you that. Are you better off with Mason Rudolph at quarterback than Will Levis?
Well, seems like
given
the head
Titans
coach,
defense.
Seems like the head coach don't even like Will Levis, to be honest with you. Especially
He said
after
he
those
was
first,
gonna put him in the game
after
if
those
he was
first
ready
couple
to go.
games. You know, the sit on the sideline. What the fuck are you doing? You know,
that's what we're saying on our couch at home too.
Right? Exactly. So, I don't know.
Saying that.
I think you go with the guy who's giving you the best chance to win games, and looks like. I mean, we can't say that just yet about Mason Rudolph because he did play Miami. Miami's defense isn't good. Miami is just not a good team right now.
No, they're not. They just play like they just play uninspired. They don't look like y'all out there playing like y'all don't have talent other than quarterback. And Tyler Huntley looked like he couldn't keep up with the speed of his own players. Like he's underthrowing the ball. Tyreek Hill got to come back, play DB. And he started kind of getting it together. But that was one thing I noticed Tua did, and they talked about it. He got his release timing up.
Quick, yeah.
He got his release time up very quick, and they're running underneath and catching up to the ball versus where Tyler Huntley's throwing the ball after they get open.
Waiting, yeah.
They can't wait on the ball. Yeah. You gotta throw to where they're going because they're that fast. So Tyler Huntley, he's only been there a couple weeks, so I'm not like super pissed off at him about that because that is a unique set of circumstances to play in.
Yeah.
But they got to get their shit together because they just look uninspired. Like
they shouldn't. I mean, it's going to take a while. They're going to have a serious push towards the end of the season if they want to do something. Yeah. And then even at that point, we don't know if Tua's going to come back. He may come back and play. I don't know. He was on the sideline. I believe he still wants to come back and play. But
I don't know why.
You got to win some games now. Until, you know.
Boy, Tua love football, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you got to win some games, man. You got to win some games.
Yeah, their division is tightened up, and Buffalo looks a lot better than we expected them to play. So,
do they? Leading into Buffalo.
Oh, well, there you go.
Leading into Buffalo, do they? Well, here we go. So, takeaway from this week 4. Okay, Buffalo went up against a juggernaut in the Baltimore Ravens.
They did.
They finally showed that they were a juggernaut.
Yes, they did.
And they got boat raced 35-10. Okay, Ravens at home. The Ravens looked like the Ravens were supposed to look. They ran the football.
They robbed Derrick Henry of 1 yard for 200 yards rushing. That was fucked up.
First play of the game, 87-yard touchdown. Derrick Henry, King Henry. He finished the game with 199 rushing yards. Insane.
They could have ran one more time.
Yeah, they could have. Insane. But the takeaway is Buffalo that good? I mean, everybody was talking how Buffalo was good. It's 3-0. But I was looking at it from the standpoint of who are they playing, right? They ain't play nobody. They played the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals gave them a dogfight in week 1.
Right.
They end up playing Jacksonville, beat the brakes out of Jacksonville. And then who's the other team that they beat? Can't even remember because they probably wasn't even that good. So the point of the matter is they haven't really played anybody worthy enough. And we saw how the impact of a good defense prevented the Buffalo Bills from doing anything offensively. Josh Allen, he didn't have any turnovers, but he didn't have any passing yards. He didn't have any touchdowns.
No,
they couldn't do nothing offensively. They didn't run the ball well. I think James Cook had 63 rushing yards. It was just terrible. And, you know, he was talking about they're good without a go-to number 1 receiver. They were great without Stephon Diggs, but nobody stepped up to the plate on the Buffalo Bills offense to be that guy in key moments. They were 3 of 13 on third down.
I didn't see nobody better than Stephon Diggs out there versus the Ravens. I'm going to tell you that. But they just looked They just looked like they were an inferior team
Outclassed
throughout the game. Like, it didn't even look like they were just running a bad game plan, a bad scheme. It just looked like on both sides of the football, the Ravens were better than them.
They couldn't stop the
whole
run.
game.
Those DBs, the defense couldn't make any. They could not stop Henry at all.
No.
He was running wild out there. Hell, even Justice Hill was getting out as well.
Justice
from
Hill
the
looked
backfield. He was just explosive.
Justice Hill looked like a number one wide receiver against that defense. He did. He had more wide receiving yards
led
than
his team in receiving yards.
He led the Bills in receptions too. They didn't have more yards than him either.
Yeah.
So, just the 35-10, the scoreboard looks like that, and that's how the game looked. It looked like 35-10 when they was playing. Surprised it wasn't 35-0.
Yeah.
It was pretty atrocious. I do expect the Bills to play better moving forward. I'm not going to ring all of the alarms because I do think the Ravens are still a good team despite them not having a record that fully reflects that right now. They're a 500 team and the Bills are 3-1. But
I think this is what the Ravens look like. I think this is what the Ravens team should be.
That's what it should be.
This is how it's supposed to be built. It's built just like this. Lamar Jackson don't have to do too much. He only had 18 passing attempts, 13 of 18. He threw for what, 156. Wasn't that many yards.
156, 2 tutties.
You know, Derrick Henry carried the load, 24 carries as he should have.
Right.
This is what we expected out of them to do week 1 against the Chiefs.
Right.
You know, but one thing I will say is, I did like the Keon Coleman got his touches. He was able to make a few catches and get a little bit more involved in the offense. Josh threw him the rock a little bit more to get him going.
Three receptions.
Yeah, so I think he can be a good factor for them as well going forward. But you got to get him going. He's still a rookie and whatever, but you got to move him around and get him going early. Get him some easy touches and easy catches so he can ride. But obviously Khalil Shakir is the number one guy over there.
I mean, not to say anything negative about Khalil Shakir, but are you gonna ride with that as your wide receiver 1?
Yeah, because he cheat.
To be significant in like the playoffs though.
Because he cheat.
I mean, that's what is that gonna win you playoff games though?
Well, that's what they want to do, right? Because that's the reason why they got rid of Stephon Diggs. They didn't want to feel like they had to force feed a wide receiver 1. You know what I'm saying? And they want to spread the ball around. That's the philosophy that they have. And I read something today, and it said, Stephon Diggs is a great player, but we felt like he wasn't needed from a source close to the team.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, he was a great player, but we felt like we didn't need him. And then you can see that showed towards the end of the season last year.
Okay, but then your argument comes into play when you're playing against a good team like the Ravens.
When you need somebody on third down.
When you need somebody on third
Who
down.
You gonna
when
throw
you
the rock
need
to?
somebody who's a route running technician. When you need somebody who can come in and make a play with some sure hands. Do you have that guy on that team?
Right.
And when you're playing against somebody as good as the Ravens, I don't know if we saw that,
Nah.
So that's going to be up in the air and up in question. But I don't think the Bills are just exposed right now. I think it's just something where they just play an opponent that found their way and they look like the inferior opponent. So, yeah, there's that.
Another one I want to talk about, Vikings-Packers. The Vikings are legit. Can we go ahead and stamp that? They legit?
Yeah.
Is Sam Darnold him?
Him is a lot. him is a lot.
So the Vikings, man, they take on the Packers 31-29. They win. The game started off a lot worse than that. Than it ended.
But we started off atrocious. The Vikings was whooping the Packers' ass.
They were rolling. But I will give the Packers a lot of credit. They stuck it out. They scored 22 points in the fourth quarter. So they had a nice little push to come back.
It got scary.
Jordan Love's first game back after his injury in week 1.
3 interceptions.
Yeah, but I seen the game. I knew he was going to come back. It was going to be a little sloppy, especially against this defense. You know what I mean? So he had to get accustomed to the gameplay again, the speed, this defense as well. So I think next game he's going to be way better. But one of the things that I was looking at is, he had 3 turnovers. You know, you can't have that, especially with this explosive offense that the Minnesota Vikings have. You know, you can't give them the ball. You can't keep giving them the ball.
If he has one less interception, they might win this game.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's an important factor, even though they did come back and make it an extremely close game, make it scary.
Mm-hmm.
However, 3 interceptions, it definitely cost them the game. Mm-hmm. Not going to hold you. But to go back to your point about Sam Darnold being him, as the girlies say, not too much. But he is playing extremely well. You got Addison back. Addison had 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Jets has scored.
He's gonna score every week.
So, I mean, my whole thing is they look good. Aaron Jones had 93 rushing yards, 22 carries, which is
what he's supposed
to do. So, I mean, they have a balanced offense. You have your defense playing well. I think the Vikings are legit. I think they're a scary team to play against with the wide receiving core, with the rushing game, and Sam Darnold being a good game manager right now. You know, he getting yards. He's not scared to push the ball downfield. They have a very complete football team as of right now, and they still haven't gotten T.J. Hockenson back yet.
Nope.
So I think they're pretty scary, and they beat a good opponent with their starting quarterback. Having in terms of the yards, passing the ball, he got going in the second half. He had a great second half, but Jordan Love was off in the first half.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they showed, you know, that they can weather some storms with that win. So I think it was a very good win for Minnesota. I like what they got going on right now. One of the few teams that's still undefeated.
Yeah.
Now, shit's gonna start getting a little bit weird with these bye weeks and London games and all this other stuff.
It's about to get freaky.
It's about to get real freaky out here.
Especially October, Halloween, about to get freaky.
Yeah, it start getting spooky every October. Be prepared for it. Don't get too high. Another team that I didn't want to get too high was the New Orleans Saints. Played against my Atlanta Falcons.
Those games are always barn burners.
Yeah. Yeah. It was intense. You and I played against each other in fantasy, so you know about Young Way Cool.
Young Ho Cool.
My Young Ho put up 20 points in fantasy.
I know about him. He went to Georgia Eagle, man.
Yeah. So that game was crazy close, but I do appreciate the fact that the Falcons were able to come up on this win against the Saints, and they were still banged up. The Falcons' offensive line missing some protection. Both teams were out of their starting centers in that game. So it was a couple moments where it was some sloppy play calls. I seen the Falcons had I forgot what infraction it was when the offensive lineman moves. I think it was a bullshit call, honestly. But in any event, they end up winning the game in a close one. Saints fans are pissed. They was talking all types of trash.
Of course.
They say we cheated. I said hold that L.
Right.
But more importantly, this was the Falcons' first division game, and they won that. And now they have, back-to-back division games. Yeah. So they got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Thursday.
Yeah, and then the Carolina Panthers.
And then the Carolina Panthers after that. Now, with the Saints, I was going to ask you, speaking of teams riding high at the beginning of the season, were we too high on the Saints coming out in the first 2 games and they have this high scoring average and everything? Or do you think they're kind of coming back down to earth where they should be?
I mean, this was a divisional game. They played against a Dallas defense that was that's not good at all. Yeah. So that's where some of those high scoring points came from. But I just think, with it being in a division, in the game within division, those games are always going to be like that. They're always going to be tight. They're always going to be close. Right. Especially Falcons Saints, man. They're always going to be like that. But we don't know. I mean, I think that the Falcons have a better defense than the Dallas Cowboys. So I think that kind of dropped their scoring down. The Eagles last week, they played them a little. The week prior, the Eagles played them very well as well.
They did.
So I think it's one of those things. Once you get film on these teams, you start to understand what they're doing. You can kind of adjust to it on defensively and kind of bring them down to earth. So I think that's what happened. They still, my boy Chris Olave still did his thing. That's my guy right there. You know what I'm saying?
Chris Olave is a very good wide receiver.
Yeah, very good wide receiver.
Hate the Aints. Chris Olave is good though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean Kamara, he's gonna score. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. But I just think it's a case of Atlanta being a better defense, which kind of limit the amount of offense that the Saints could put up against them.
They also gave the ball to Tyler.
Yeah, because Bijan was banged up. He shouldn't really.
He should have been getting carries anyway. Yeah. I think in that game against the Chiefs, they kind of gave Bijan room to be more like a dynamic back, open field, making plays, tap into that whole Bijan Iverson thing. He crosses people up with a football. But Tyler Algier, he gives you a little bit more power running. He still has some speed. He can still make some misses happen. He's a very good back as well, like we've been saying. So, I mean, handing him the ball, he only had 8 carries, but his 60 yards rushing contributes. You know what I'm saying? And being able to do things at that second back position, I think helps the offense a lot more. Yeah, that's good. Really that's good. So I mean, I like what they was doing over there.
Then they're 10 yards a carry.
Right. So I like what they're doing. I think they got, more work to do, of course, in order to be able to win that division still. But pulling off close wins, playing good in situational football, making good decisions and kicking field goals the way Younghoe Koo does.
The way you should do.
Yeah.
You kick a field goal against the Chiefs, you would have probably won that game.
Exactly. So could easily be 3-1 right now.
Right.
But we're 2-2. And we got 1-0 in the division so far, so that's a very good start for the Falcons, and I think they're on their way to possibly winning that division.
Hey, you got to keep it going.
Still. Tampa Bay is looking good, though.
Yeah.
Last thing. Why the hell are the Raiders talking about trading Devontae Adams?
Because the Raiders don't have a quarterback. Devontae probably in there complaining.
Devontae probably in there keeping it real.
He keeping it real, but they ain't trying to hear that.
He ain't complaining. Keeping it real.
They ain't trying to hear that. So they trying to get him. They trying to get his ass up out of there. And
I heard they talking about trading him for a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah, second. That's what they want, but I don't know. We'll see. I think the Jets probably jump on that. I don't think nobody else will jump on it.
There's a lot of people that need
the Chiefs. The Chiefs probably might jump on it.
The Chiefs need a wide receiver bad. Mm-hmm. The Chargers could damn sure use a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Like Devontae Adams, you need somebody who's a veteran wide receiver. You got a bunch of young guys, and Herbert is, doing what he can. But, I mean, somebody like Devontae Adams definitely opens it up. Even though they want to be a run-first team now with Harbaugh, I get it. But
he just want to win.
And I think if you want to win, go to the damn Chiefs. I heard Stephen A. making a very eloquent diatribe about how Dallas could use him and Jerry Jones is going to see this and da-da-da-da-da.
They need to work on their defense.
Devontae, stay your ass out of Dallas. You deserve better. You don't need to be in the mix of that chaos. If you're going to go somewhere and you want to win, take your ass to the Chiefs. If you want to get some very good usage, take your ass to a contender. Take your ass somewhere with a good coach, or get back with Aaron Rodgers, man. Do something. But I don't know about Dallas. Don't put yourself in that position if you got any control over it.
Oh, yeah. Last game, Seahawks-Lions. Ooh. That was a good matchup. Great game.
Very good game.
Good game. Shout out Geno. Geno's getting his ass beat back there, but he was still delivering the rock.
That game was closer than it.
DK Metcalf was getting his ass beat out there too, getting pass interference, PI like a mug.
They couldn't guard him.
Carlton Davis.
They couldn't guard him. I don't know why I didn't think about putting DK Metcalf as one of my props against that secondary. But yeah, he was.
But I mean, I will say this: Detroit's defense, they They've been playing with Aiden Hutchinson. Couldn't even really get to Geno Smith like that.
That's good blocking.
Towards the end of the game, he started breaking loose a little bit. But
that's
the
good
majority
blocking.
of the game, Aiden Hutchinson, his name wasn't called not at once.
Terry Arnold name was called a hell of times in that second.
And I said this before. I said this before he got drafted. He likes to grab, bro. He likes to grab. He's real handsy.
And he always looking up at the screen with that dumbass look.
Yeah, like he ain't did shit. I said that at the draft. So he's a good corner, but when I watched him at Alabama, he did have a lot of PIs there too.
Yes, he does. Bro look like Kai Snott with a helmet. But ahead.
This is the Detroit Lions team that we're used to seeing. Running the ball well, using your 1A and 1B back, Monty and Jahmyr Gibbs, both of them running the ball effectively. Sam Laporta getting some love.
Yeah.
J-Mo getting some love on the deep plays. Yeah. Amon-Ra getting some love.
Yeah.
So all of your players offensively was showing up and doing what they're supposed to do. And then Jared Goff, man. Jared Goff went perfect on the night. 18 of 18, no interceptions, 2 TDs. A beautiful game. And
damn near 300 yards passing on 18 pass attempts.
Yeah, it was really a shootout. That game was really a shootout.
They said the only reason his passer rating, it was like, what do you have to do to get a perfect passer rating? And it was like, well, you got to have at least 20 attempts. That's the only reason.
Well, it was 155 point something. The first one was like 158.3.
Yeah, so he was up there.
Yeah. Nah, but other than that, I mean,
Kenneth Walker went crazy too, though.
Yeah. It took him a while to get going. It took him a while. Then they finally started after the second half. Yeah, when the second half started.
Kenneth Walker started cooking.
But it took a minute for them to get going. But like I said, I mean, the Detroit Lions defense, they've been playing better. And my boy Brian Branch wasn't playing. He was out. Safety. You know what I mean? So that's an X factor as well. But I do like the pieces that they did bring over to Detroit in the secondary. They addressed it. Just a matter of.
I don't think it's addressed.
It's just a matter of Arnold putting on some mittens so he don't be grabbing.
Yeah. But I'm not alarmed. I don't think Seattle has much to be down about. You played a hellified road game against a very good team with a quarterback that's having a perfect game.
Yeah. And
you kept it pretty close up until maybe late in the fourth. But to me, that game was a lot closer than a 29-42 scoreboard indicates. But it was a hellified game. I don't have anything bad to say about either team, honestly. I think they're both gonna be in good spots moving forward if they continue to play like that.
Yeah.
I hope DK Metcalf got some good recovery treatment or something after the game, because it was jumping all over that man.
Yeah, physical.
It was on that man back all day. But yeah, man.
But yeah, that's it for week 4 takeaways, man. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Tell us your thoughts from the week 4 takeaway, your week 4 takeaways, so we can hear what you guys are looking at, what you guys are seeing as well. But be on the lookout for week 5, the rundown. We're going to talk about our picks for the week and our best bets and our underdog of the week. So don't miss out on that. But until next time, we'll see you on the next video. Peace.